Tatiana Gutierrez is one of the most perplexing characters that you'll meet throughout the events of the Evil Within series. Her role within the games is relatively simplistic, offering tips and being an indication of safe haven for the player. But the story of who exactly she is, or what she's doing in both Union and Beacon, is a bit more complex. There are also quite a few conflicting backstory indications that can make the story of Tatiana a bit confusing if you go looking into it.
Congratulations. You're as good as you're going to get. Now you can stop gathering up all that green gel.
Tatiana's tale is complex, mainly because the Tatiana that we see in the first game doesn't appear to be the same one that we see in the second. Not that they are all that dissimilar in terms of appearance or attitude, but more so in the sense that the Tatiana from the Evil Within 1 appears to be a real person, while the Tatiana from the second game, based on her own comments, doesn't. In the Evil Within 1, Tatiana is the keeper of what seems to be a patient ward where Sebastian will enter from time to time. Most of what she'll say to the unfortunate detective amounting to vague hints about his situation. However, not much information actually comes from these interactions. Most of the details about the actual character of Tatiana come from a missing persons poster that can be found near reception where Tatiana spends the bulk of her time, her in-game model description, and her appearances in the Kidman DLCs for the game. Let's first start with her missing persons poster, since it provides a baseline to suggest that, yes, Tatiana was, at some point, a nurse at the Beacon Mental Hospital. Outside of that fact, not much can be discerned from this poster other than her occupation. Her model description is almost equally uninformative, offering a reason for her very dry personality because of her work, but not providing much about what exactly that work entailed. So, we know that Tatiana worked at the hospital, went missing one night after a late shift, and also had involvement in seeing truly terrible things at the hospital that greatly desensitized her. This leads us into the first game's DLCs, where we get some interesting information about Tatiana as she is seen in Kidman's journey. The first is that Kidman does in fact meet Tatiana during her time in STEM, proving that Tatiana is not just some mental creation of Sebastian, which would likely peg her as another unfortunate victim of the system when Jimenez threw the switch to activate STEM.
Are we awake?
Hey you! What's going on? Where is this place?
I'm afraid I cannot answer that.
Are you kidding me? Ugh, waste of time.
However, while it could be thought that she is a victim of the system, an odd turn of events at the end of the Kidman DLCs seems to draw this conclusion into question, as a woman who has a very striking resemblance to the nurse can be seen meeting with a man who may be the director, but either way has ties to Mobius, suggesting that Tatiana may actually have been another Mobius agent, or at least working with Mobius from Beacon. This could also be the reason that she becomes emotionless during her time in the hospital, perhaps being a person who witnessed the experiments that Ruvik was using the patients for. Unfortunately, this is the last that we know of the true Tatiana Gutierrez, if indeed it is the same woman that's seen at the end of the DLC. Her involvement at Beacon leaving more questions than it does answers as to who exactly this woman truly was and what she was doing in Beacon, leading us into the second game, which again serves to muddy the waters. In the Evil Within 2, Tatiana again provides assistance to Sebastian during his time in Union, helping with upgrades, tips, and even trainings if Sebastian should so desire. Tatiana's role in the second game is slightly diminished, but despite this, we do finally get a clear answer as to who she is and what she's doing here, with the Beacon nurse telling Sebastian near the end of the game that she's an imprint from STEM onto his psyche, a permanent part of his mind that will resurface anytime he's plugged into a STEM system, telling Sebastian that she represents his own inner strength.
Approaching.
You've been here for me the whole time. Both times.
Maybe I've been with you longer than that.
What do you mean? Who are you?
I'm who I've always been. I'm who I'll always be. I'm who you turn to when you need inner strength, and you need me now more than ever.
And when this is all over?
When this is all over, you won't need me again.
Because this will be over? Or because I'll be dead?
The same answer applies either way. Now, let's get you ready.
This revelation tells us what she's doing in the second game, but doesn't answer the questions of the first. Who exactly was Tatiana? Was she a casualty of STEM or part of the cause? Unfortunately, we may never get the answers to these questions, as even if she was a secretive member of Mobius as the DLC suggests, she would have seemingly died at the end of the second game where Myra compromised the chips in the heads of all Mobius agents. All of these questions, with so few answers, is what truly makes Tatiana Gutierrez an enigma of Mobius and of the STEM system.